Last time on Square Roots, our sister gets sexually harassed, a different woman is kidnapped by pirates, and Denim gets an offer he can refuse. Meanwhile, Snap is a total gentleman in Johnny's version. Then he put on a wrestling singlet and they kissed. Hi everybody, welcome to Square Roots, the
Holy
classic
shit, it's Kermit the
gaming
Frog.
podcast. I'm your host, Jim Banks. And I'm joined as always
You're so mean.
by my faithful friends, Matthew Van Zant.
Hi, Jim, I guess.
Hi-oh. Johnny, Cassandra the mother, Brandon.
Good morning, Gordon Freeman.
And Vanessa. I'm Big Slubba.
All right. Well, now that we're done pretending like Jim's here, I'm surprised that you didn't take this opportunity to take revenge on him and claim that he has diarrhea.
Yeah, he will. Jim
He doesn't have it yet. He's in the process of obtaining diarrhea, I guess.
Yeah, Jim is currently,
Contracting?
and this is not a joke, at an all-you-can-eat buffet. So we can only assume that he is going to contract diarrhea.
Or E. coli. Because, people aren't washing their hands before they use those shared spoons.
No, he's going to get norovirus. He's going to get diarrhea. It's going to be coming out of every orifice.
Oh, poor guy.
Personally, I think he's
Yeah.
going to get Ebola.
Oh.
Interesting choice.
Hey, Big Slubbo, what do we do on this show?
I already said this is the show where we play your favorite RPGs one
You did not say
chunker at a time. I always did it.
And
Who
what
said it?
episode is this? And what game are we playing? And
This is episode 5 of Tactics Ogre.
whoa.
Whoa.
I feel like we have 3 episodes left of this. Hopefully, chapter 4 is not as long as it looks.
What if there's more episodes? What will we do?
Be upset about how long this fucking season is taking. Didn't realize Tactics Ogre was going to turn into a BioWare length game.
It's a 50-hour game. But Matt's like, no, that's per path. But then it's not. Like, I read it was 50 hours, and then it's like, no, that's each playthrough is 50 hours. I did see that.
I don't know what you guys are talking about because this chunker took me less than 2 hours. So
Good. Well, I kept it a
There's
little
no
shorter
need to
because
be
Johnny was
complaining.
behind, and I wanted to let him catch up.
Oh, good.
That's the only reason why Vanessa took such a short amount of time to do it?
I mean, I guess my superior gaming skills and
That's true. That's true.
the power of Andraste.
Johnny, are you caught up this week?
Yeah. I got to the Biryani castle, and then things happened there, which I assume are going to be somewhat similar.
Maybe.
Oh, right. Different paths, different happenings.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, maybe we should just have like a Johnny's differences corner.
Well, that's what I did.
don't
I
have
added
to.
I added some Johnny's versions to the notes.
Yeah, okay. I see.
So when we hit those, so that
They're
I
like
don't
Taylor's
derail,
version, but it's
Yeah, exactly.
Johnny's version. Oh, are you going to start complaining about things we talked about before we started recording? That's a great idea. That's a good idea.
Yes. So we don't
Speaking
derail
of-
Matt's precious notes.
Yeah, like watch
Yeah.
me spend an hour on these and have everybody be like, yeah, let's just talk about whatever we want in any order we want and not even bother. It's a little frustrating. I'm allowed to be a little
Right.
frustrated about it.
What's frustrating is I made
Vanessa
a
hates it
sincere
when dad
effort.
and dad fight.
I do. But before we get to personal grievances, the quest log, or how we leveled up, let's talk about hot
think
gaming news.
Do we have to? Because I think we should insert a personal grievances. And then the thing is that most of the time we're all pretty good with each other, so we can just make shit up.
Yeah, we can save it for
Johnny
the end
killed
of the
my
show.
dog.
Oh, I would never kill a dog. They're wonderful.
I
Unless
guess
it's in a
the
video
hottest gaming news this week is
Well,
the
that's true.
surprise reunion of the long broken up content producers, Oasis. That's right. The Gallagher brothers are back together.
I just
wait
found
to
out one of the
see-
Gallagher brothers is dead.
Yeah, can't wait to see the one surviving Gallagher brothers smash some watermelons. Also, we're like a week late on this, so that joke has been made on every podcast and
I don't
stream.
think so. I haven't heard any mixing up which Gallagher brothers they're talking about jokes on any of the podcasts I listen to. Which
Yeah,
is
we
My
definitely
Brother, My
didn't do
Brother,
this
Me,
last
and
night on our
Flophouse.
stream.
Well, that's true.
And my brother and me, who definitely did it, and then did it again on their own stream.
Wait, did they?
They
I
always
listened
do
to
our
that episode.
content.
They didn't mention watermelon smashing at all.
Did they? Didn't they?
They did.
I don't know if
They
I
did.
listened
Did
to
they?
it this week.
I don't know.
Oh.
Do we need to argue about this? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
Maybe
Save
I'm
it for
right.
the grievances corner.
Yeah, save it for the grievances corner.
The grievances we have amongst each other and also with the McElroys, especially Travis. He knows what he did.
No, he's the best one.
No, Justin's the best one.
No, Travis.
He's the
I
funniest.
like Griffin.
I
Aww.
like Griffin too.
Yeah, didn't you
all
have
right. Save it
what's
for the
your dream
grievances
about
corner.
the parade in your dream about Griffin or Justin, Vanessa?
Ah, fuck. Now we're in the Dreamcast. You've derailed
true.
the derail. See what happens when
listeners
Jim's
will
not
have
here
to-
to host? Things fall apart.
Listeners will have to go back to the archives and find the episode where I described my dream about Griffin McElroy if they want to hear about that. And any other hot gaming news?
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Well, I didn't really know about this until one Matthew Van Zandt told me about it yesterday.
That's me. Oh, okay. I know. We were going to talk about the same thing.
Yeah, I figured. Concord got pulled off the shelves. It was too
I hadn't
good.
heard of that game. I had not even heard of that game until I heard it was getting pulled off the shelves. So
Wait, really?
great job,
Oh,
Sony.
I heard about it. But I think I was listening to a bunch of podcasts with people being like, I think this game's going to bomb. And then it bombed.
Yeah, I don't listen to.
it's like an
I don't listen to
Overwatch.
many gaming podcasts or any really. No, I listen to the besties, so I guess I do listen to one.
It's like an Overwatch that Sony made, and it was, $40 game. So not like a full price game. And then it came out, and not very many people were playing it because, I don't know, it's a crowded marketplace. The hero shooter is a very crowded
Well, yeah, and it's a $40 game, and there are already multiple free-to-play options. So why would you fucking pay for this?
And then Deadlock's beta has been out. The Valve game. I have.
Yeah, is that the
invite to
Valve
that.
game? I saw some
Yeah.
video of that. It looks like shit, and also like boo to Valve, like lame, like way to get in on the fucking top floor, you fucking losers. You're supposed to be one of the best game developers on the planet, and this is shit.
Well, they had Team Fortress before, and it's not really the same thing, but
They
it's kind
were
of the same
breaking
thing.
the mold with Team Fortress.
Yeah, and now they have a Team Fortress like. Well, no, it's more of an Overwatch like. Anyway, yeah. So it kind of had a sort of Guardians of the Galaxy feel to it. It was all spacey. You're on a spaceship. And I never played it though, because
Concord?
I wasn't that interested.
I'm not buying I'm not buying a character shooter.
Yeah, I did buy Overwatch when it came out. I played it.
I had
for
the
like a
original
couple
Overwatch.
months.
I played it for like a month. It was fun enough. It wasn't as good as PUBG.
Yeah, and it was. I don't like how it just feels like you're doing the same thing over and over. And even though you are in PUBG, there's enough difference to it. Like each time feels really different a lot of the time.
Yeah. Well, that's
Depending on
part
where
of
you
why I
land and
prefer
what you get.
PUBG to Fortnite is because at least you have like different maps and stuff. Like, can you imagine just playing
Yeah.
the same fucking map over and over again? That sounds
Yeah,
terrible.
I get bored pretty easily. But everyone wanted to sleep with the characters from Overwatch, and they definitely tried to make all the characters in Concord hot. but they just didn't catch on. You know what? They didn't have enough dommy mommies and slutty dads and stuff. Like, whoever designed the characters wasn't horny enough, basically.
Yeah. Well, and it's
I think
also
that
worth
was a
pointing
big
out
problem.
that all of the stupidest and most disingenuous people on the internet are, of course, claiming it's because the game was too woke. Anytime a game bombs now, it's because it was too woke. And when a woke as shit game does well, people are like, just ignore it. It's fine. Sad.
What made it woke?
I don't know. I refuse to really engage that
Yeah,
far with it, to be honest with you. I'm not.
I assume that it has women of color or something. Who knows?
Oh, wow, that's
they're all
so woke.
aliens. Yeah.
All right, there's another, I guess, small piece of hot gaming news, which is that our favorite horror game creator, Supermassive, released a new game this week. The casting of Frank Stone, I believe. Yeah.
I don't understand what is.
It is a Dead by Daylight tie-in. It's not a Dark Pictures game.
Dead by Daylight is the zombie one?
Dead by Daylight is, I think, one of those, what do they call them? Asynchronous, like, multiplayer games where you have a group of, like, survivors and then somebody plays a monster.
Oh, I've played that. We all played that.
No,
That's
I don't
the
think I
game
did.
where, what's his name, came and saved us. Johnny,
Yeah,
what
Jared.
was his name? Jared. How can you have a game based on that? Because that game is just people running away from like Chucky or something.
I'm sure there's,
It's got
but I'm
story.
sure there's lore to it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It does not appeal to me, and I'm not interested in it. It's kind of too bad. I was very excited before I realized all this, but I'm not going to bother.
Is it multiplayer? How does it play? I still don't understand what it is.
It is not multiplayer. It plays like a Supermassive game.
But those are multiplayer.
Not all of them. In fact, I think
Yeah.
the majority of them are not.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
you know what I meant. I meant like, is it like a Dead by Daylight style game?
No.
It is
It's like a
Supermassive style game.
Hotel Hell or
Okay,
a
it's
Until
like press
Dawn.
X to Frank and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, good for them for like trying to do something, I guess, but I'm just not interested.
It's
not
one of
good.
those
It's not
don't
good when
frank until
people-
the monster has passed you by games.
Oh, that's really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's legitimate. I don't like it when people don't make games specifically catered for me.
Mm.
Don't make your "that's problematic" noise at me, Johnny Brandon.
No. That's more of a that's a noise my mom would make, like a You know, like it's not that's problematic. It's more like I see what you're saying. I don't agree with it, and I'm not going to really acknowledge it other than making noise.
I see. I mean,
Yeah, that sounds like my mom. Do it in more of an English.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, exactly. You have to the English put a little musicality in their Exactly.
How about a nice cuppa, Johnny?
Actually, she does say that.
Ew, did you grow up drinking tea? That's disgusting.
Well, no, she would make me hot chocolate because I was a baby.
There's some chalky.
Doesn't like tea.
Some chocolate, Johnny.
Hot chockies ready, Johnny.
Johnny,
Holy
chalky.
shit, did I just fall into a Wallace and Gromit episode?
Yeah.
All right, well, I believe that's all the hot gaming news we have this week.
Was there anything else?
I have some.
Okay, let's hear Vanessa's HGN.
If you got Amazon Prime, you can play a whole bunch of free games in September. I guess they always try to do this, and nobody pays any attention to it, as far as I know. But if you do have it, they have a whole bunch of Lego games, and they also have Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. If you missed
I have
those,
those like 15 times.
Yeah, that makes
I'm
a lot
not
of
talking
sense,
about you
though,
specifically.
considering they did make that Fallout show. In fact, I'm surprised it took this long.
Absolutely.
Let's see what games.
I've
do
never
they
tried
have?
that. I imagine you have to install some sort of Amazon fucking spyware in order to play the games that they give out for free.
They have Lego
I-
Lord of the Rings.
Like I said, a whole bunch of Lego games. Tales from the Borderland. You saw the movie. Now play the Tales game.
I
Did
guess
you see the movie?
No, of course not. Why would I see that?
Huh.
But the game, of course, that we are all most excited about playing for free with Amazon Prime is Mystery Case Files: Black Crown - Collector's Edition.
Ooh.
Love a
Yeah, I've
game
heard
with
of
a
that
whole
for
bunch
sure.
of like. Okay, well, how about this, Matt? Have you heard of I Love Finding Cats and Pups: Collector's Edition?
Yeah.
Oh, Greedfall. Greedfall's free. At least, I think the games in Canada are different than the games in the US.
Oh, no, I see Greedfall on here as well. I'm just a little bit more
Okay.
excited about I Love Finding Cats and Pups Collector's Edition.
I'm interested in playing Greedfall. It feels like more like something we'd play on the show eventually, but I'm interested in it.
How about Minibo - A Walkthrough
A
Life?
Walkthrough Life.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off because
I'm gonna grab that Minibo. Baldur's
Why don't
Gate
we
2
talk-
Enhanced Edition.
why don't we
This
talk
is
about how
Johnny
we
and
leveled
Vanessa
up?
read
Yeah.
lists of games.
Ooh, Loop Hero. I've heard that was good. Who did I watch? I watched someone play that.
That was
I'd like
on,
to hear how
Game
Johnny
Pass, I
leveled
think.
up.
Me? Level up?
Yeah.
Well, I got Whispered Secrets Ever-Burning Candle for free. From
great.
Amazon Game. Okay. So, I did watch more Poker Face. Now, last time I think I just started watching the Judith Light episode, where that episode takes a turn. I was not okay. So I guess I was expecting more of a like leftist ending to that game. That episode. And I'm gonna spoil this episode. So listeners, go ahead, move ahead 5 minutes, just in case I talk for 5 minutes, because I'm gonna spoil an episode of Poker Face called "The Time of the Monkey." Vanessa, do you remember this episode?
No.
Oh. Let me look up the cast real fast. The Time of the Monkey. All right. So that's the one where Charlie is working at an old folks' home because she has to go from job to job.
That one was fantastic.
Yeah. And there's two cranky old ladies who are cool and smoke weed, and she becomes instant friends with them.
I do remember this episode, yes.
Who are they played
Yes.
by?
Judith Light, from Who's the Boss, and S. Apatha Merkerson. I don't know what else she's been in, but she was really good.
And they murder a man.
She's been in 391 episodes of Law and Order.
Good for her.
And she was in Jacob's Ladder. Remember Jacob's Ladder?
Oh, yeah, that old chestnut.
So, yeah, this guy comes in and looks at them, and then it cuts to them in their hotel room, and they're like, we have to kill him. And it's mysterious. And then you find out that the guy that they murdered was a cult leader, and they were in this, like, free lovey cult that was turning violent and gonna do some what she called direct action. And I was surprised at how stupid Charlie was, because I knew exactly what they meant when she's like, we're gonna hit those elite, the untouchable elites where it hurts.
Right, and
like,
Charlie's just like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what that means. I'm confused.
Well, she was saying we did some direct action, and Charlie assumed that meant like protesting with signs, but
No.
it meant building bombs, and they were going to murder their children at the Model UN. And I thought that the show was
I
going
forgot
to
about that.
Yeah, I thought the show was going to be like her realizing what they did, but that this guy totally betrayed them and she was going to help them cover up the murder. That's kind of where I thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
But then they sort of introduced the Model UN killing the murdering children stuff, and it just got real bootlickery. She went to the cops.
No, he went to the cops, didn't he?
Well, originally he went to the cops because things got out of hand, but she also ran.
Well, yeah,
into
that was when they were
FBI
younger, and this was later when they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's I misunderstood. I thought Charlie knew who the dead guy was before. And so this episode, I think, is maybe the weakest structurally, even has really good performances, because I got confused as to where Charlie was. And okay, I did watch it in 2 chunks, and sometimes that, you might not always get the through line. But she goes to the guy's funeral because she feels bad for him, and sees the FBI agent there and starts talking to him. And I thought she knew right away that he was an FBI agent, but she didn't. And that was very confusing.
Why would she know?
Yeah, why would she know that?
I guess because I would have assumed that she already knew that the guy was in witness protection, but she didn't. I guess I just forgot what she did and did not know.
Yeah, she didn't know.
That she knew. I assumed that she knew what we knew by that point, but she did not.
I think this was a good episode. I think it's good to know that even people who present themselves as cool can be total assholes.
Yep.
And some people who seem like uptight narcs are heroes after all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes sense that Vanessa would like that message.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm a famous narc.
You are a famous narc.
I freaking love telling authorities things.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, so the guy at the end's like, hey, if you ever want to work with us. At no point this FBI guy ever looked her up and saw the warrants for her arrest. If you remember, it was established in episode 2. There's a whole bunch of warrants out for her.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
I don't know that
interesting.
FBI agents search for warrants for every person they talk to at a funeral.
I don't
Probably
know. But she did... that fight, there's a all-out brawl between Charlie and the old ladies, and they keep calling her a millennial, and she's a cusper. And Matt won't let me use the term cusper, because Natasha Lyonne is only a couple of months older than me. We are like the same age. And don't I look as young and vibrant as Natasha Lyonne?
100%. I think you've lived a little bit cleaner than she has, so if anything, you look younger.
Well, if I had a big blonde wig and shaved off this gray beard, I think I could look as young as Natasha Lyonne.
Absolutely.
I love her big.
I know that
blonde
she
wig,
has like strawberry blonde hair, but in my mind, she's a redhead.
Well, she was a redhead in what was that show where it kept being Wednesday over and over again? Yeah,
Russian Doll.
Yeah,
Russian Doll. That was a great
Doll.
fucking show. Well, the first season was.
And I just got past the Nick Nolte episode. I'm not going to spoil that one for listeners. That episode was really good. Vanessa thought I would like that episode. I did like that. I don't know if it's my favorite so far, though. I don't know which one is my favorite.
I thought you'd like it because you like movies and stuff.
I do. But there was another episode that was really good. Well, the second episode I really, really liked. And the third episode was okay. I don't know. They're all good so far. I like Time of the Monkey, but there was just a couple. I think I just watching in 2 halves didn't do that episode any favors for me. Because that one had some of the best performances, I would say.
Well, I think that you have yet to see my favorite episode, so ponder that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the stop motion stuff in that episode and the maquette, the maquette was really cool. The one that looked like Tuvok.
Oh, that's right. It was great.
Yeah, it was Tuvok.
The Tuvok maquette. Yeah, but it was a maquette. Anyway, so I did that. I also picked up the Simpsons game because I am reviewing.
He's got it.
I'm reviewing The Simpsons Hit and Run for my next open world game, which is not this game. But I was also going to talk about, because I like sort of talking about the history of Simpsons or the game in question. And this time I'm going to talk about a bunch of the Simpsons games over time. and play a few of them. This one I've always wanted to play, but I never picked it up. Unfortunately, I waited too long because that game was like $5 for a decade, and now suddenly it's $60.
Oh no!
It's gone up in price. And I'm sure they've sold a bajillion of them. It seems weird that it would be that expensive. It's a Western game, but I guess The Simpsons are still really popular with the TikToking tweens of today.
People probably collect Simpsons stuff in particular, regardless of whether or not it's a game.
Because Simpsons Hit and Run is also much more expensive than it used to be.
Is the last Simpsons game that came out Simpsons Tap? Have we seen anything since then?
Was that like a mobile game?
Yeah. You should include that in your thing. It was very popular.
Oh. You know what? I can record. I can plug in my cell phone into my computer and record it. So I could play it on my cell phone.
At least, look at the Wikipedia and figure out what it is. So people don't accuse you of being...
anti-mobile?
Anti-mobile, yeah. Mm-hmm. The worst accusation.
The Simpsons game is really impressive. Especially, I didn't realize it's a 2007 game. So that game is way old. That's 17 years old. It's almost an adult.
Wow. That's so old.
I think it came out... Did the Simpsons movie come out in 2007? That seems about right. I think it was around the same time. Anyway.
To be honest, I'm not an expert on The Simpsons.
Oh, I'm a big Simpsons nerd, but not that big apparently, because I didn't buy this game until now, or Hit and Run. Anyway, Vanessa.
The other day, a friend of mine messaged me about The Simpsons and said that the guy who played Troy McClure was arrested for felony or something. She said there was something and she couldn't remember what it was. And then I had to tell her what happened I know. And she was like, oh no. She just vaguely knew there was some kind of scandal or something.
Yeah, and it was all
And she just randomly brought this up to you 20 years later? That's weird.
Yep.
What was his name? Andy, the guy that gave Phil Hartman's wife the drugs.
Oh, Andy Richter.
No.
Andy Young. It's something like Andy Young.
Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. Vanessa, how did you level up?
Oh, thanks for asking, Johnny. Have I talked about the documentary How to Rob a Bank on this show before? It's about a bank robber who was active in Seattle in the early to mid 90s.
Yes, I think you did.
Okay, well then I'm not going to talk about that. I want to talk about how
Andy Dick.
Yes.
Named
how can
for
we
what
not
he
remember
is.
Dick?
It's been a long time, Johnny. So I'd like to talk about how Matt's daughter is trying to sabotage my Square Roots career. She came for me specifically and recommended via Matt a game called Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah, this is a wild mistelling of what happened.
I'm pretty sure it's exactly what happened. From what I understand, she played Cult of the Lamb. She was playing it and she's like, oh my god, Vanessa would love this. Dad, tell Vanessa about this. That sounded nothing like her. I'm sorry. She actually has a very sweet voice. Dad, tell Vanessa about this.
Don't.
That doesn't. First of all, she does not have a country accent. How dare you?
Papa,
We live in Florida.
Papa.
You're doing terrible. Just move on.
So this is a I don't know what you'd call it. It's a roguelike in some elements, but also a town builder, a base builder, and cult simulator.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. So just to clarify, I do want to say this. I recommended it to you. She recommended it to me, and really, she recommended it to me because she wanted to watch me play it. She didn't recommend it to me because she thought I would enjoy it. She recommended it to me because she wanted to watch me play it while she took a nap. But I recommended it to you because it is a cult simulator, and I was like, Vanessa loves games where people worship her.
100%. This is a great game. You play as a cute little lamb, and you make a little cult of other little animals. You have lots of options. You can have a sort of kumbaya type cult. You can have a more midsummery kind of vibe if you want. Or you can make your followers feast on human flesh and feces.
It also has like a real
bad.
kind of like a almost like a mini Zelda vibe of like teensy tiny little arenas, but they kind of play like a Zelda, right? It's kind of weird.
Yeah, they are teensy tiny. It's fun. And I don't usually like roguelikes, but this one is not prohibitively difficult to play. It does have the difficulty slider, which is good for me because I'm not very good at these kind of games.
I would say it's more of a roguelite. Like the combat areas are different every time, but you're not like, and they like change up the loot and the enemies, but like overall it's not a roguelike. Like you're not permadying and the whole world isn't resetting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are kindly resurrected by your benefactor, sort of Lovecraftian entity every time you die. And you get to place houses, and it's adorable. I like it. The problem is it has a very addictive gameplay loop. And it was a big shock to me when I realized that my followers would age and die.
Oh, really?
So, yeah,
Wow.
that was unexpected. The first time one of them just keeled over of old age. I was like, what the heck? But I've since unlocked a little ritual that allows me to, before they die, just ascend their soul on up to heaven there. And it's great, and everyone likes it, and nobody has a problem with it.
So you're killing your followers now? Did I understand that correctly?
No, that is a separate ceremony.
Yeah, you give sermons at your little temple, and they worship you, and it gives you power that lets you. It's got a whole unlockable, skill tree, and you're clearly way further into the game than I am.
I'm very far into it. I have already unlocked the secret hidden skill tree. I don't want to give too many spoilers, but it gets fun and even more midsummery, if that's your kind of thing.
There are multiple skill trees just from the beginning of the game. I've played 2 hours, and there's already multiple skill trees.
Mm-hmm. No, it's really fun. It's really customizable, and I enjoy just about every element of it. My only issue with it is that on PlayStation Plus, it does have one event that triggers frequent crashes. So I have to try to kind of remember. And you can't manually slave. I think you have to sort of leave your base and then come back before you send a follower on a mission, because I would say 50% of the time that I do that, the game crashes.
Oh, wow. I had a crash. It was I think they're called commandment stones. The game was like, go get some commandment stones so you can make some commandments for your cult. And I went into the little roguelite arena and went and found a commandment stone, and then the game crashed. And when I reloaded it, it started me back from 1, and I was like, I think I'll turn this off for the day.
Yeah, it is frustrating.
Well, I'm glad you like it. Like it's I thought it would be kind of up your alley. It's really fun.
Yeah. It's cute, it's fun, and everybody worships me. I love it.
I love that you can get, as you get followers, which you kind of find out in the kind of combat-y zone areas, when you get them back to your base, you can customize them and make them look like whatever you want and name them whatever you want. It's pretty fun.
It is fun. They also have their own unique personality traits, some of which are beneficial and some of which will irritate other people. So you have to kind of really try to balance that. Although some of those negative traits can go away if you level up their loyalty. I'd also like to talk about next week. It's a really important event on not just the U.S. stage,
Hang on.
the...
No. What's the name of your cult?
Taskmaster. It's a good name.
I mean, it is kind of a really good name for a cult, though.
It is.
You are their
and-
Taskmaster.
That's right. And it also has really helped with my naming conventions for my villagers. Is it weird to name all of your cult followers after Taskmaster contestants, have them age, and then bury them in the ground?
Yes.
No,
So
I
are
think
you
it's
on,
pretty
like-
normie.
Are you on Mel 2 or
I have reached
5?
about series 4 or 5
Oh, wow. Okay.
for my names. And I didn't start with series 1. I should have, but I started just like based on vibes, you know?
Didn't James A. Caster win the first season?
That's an interesting take, and let's just go with it.
Who did win?
All
I
right.
don't remember. All right, fine.
John something?
I don't remember.
Is that the first
I
season?
watched the entire fucking 15 seasons in like 2 weeks. I don't remember the details. All I remember is
no.
that I was in love with the blonde in the second season. That's all. I don't remember her name at this point. Jerry Ryan? No, that's Star Trek.
Catherine Ryan.
Oh, it's close.
I did have a Catherine Ryan in my cult. She was pink. Because you could choose their form and their color.
Anyway, next week is an important event, which I am just... Johnny, do you want to back me up on this? Probably Taskmaster related. Johnny doesn't want to back me up. Let me add that to
He
the
doesn't want
Grievance
to back
corner.
you up. Nope. No, it's an important event on the global scale, I would say. It is, in fact, the return of UK Taskmaster. This is great news because, as we know, New Zealand Taskmaster ended, as of the time of this recording, last night. New Zealand Taskmaster, I don't like to play favorites, but I'd put it at my second favorite iteration of Taskmaster. Australia is also very good. That's still going. So you can look forward to that Fridays on YouTube. And then September 12th or on YouTube on the 13th, if you're in the United States, Taskmaster UK returns. There's nothing else happening next week to be stressed about or worried about or obsess over, except for Taskmaster. So that's great news.
You said that like there is, and I don't know what it could be.
There's nothing.
It makes me stress out. Like, is the election next week and I've forgotten?
It's not the election, it's the debate.
It's not going to happen. No, it's not happening.
Are you willing to say on this Monday, when this episode comes out, let's lock in our votes on whether or not Wednesday's debate will happen? Matt.
Well, I did not think the first one would happen. So, and I am typically wrong about things. So I'm going to hedge my bets and say definitely going to happen.
I also think it's definitely going to happen. Johnny.
Definitely
John doesn't care.
going to happen. The NDP and the Liberals and the Conservatives and the Bloc Québécois and the Coalition d'Avenir Québec and the Greens are all going to get together. They're all going to have a boisterous debate.
Johnny and I are really in a fight today over the dissolution of the Liberal coalition in the Canadian government. We have two strong positions, and neither of us are willing to compromise, much like Trudeau is no longer willing to compromise with the NDP.
Aww.
Aww.
It's not like I have to sit through American political discussions. Sorry, it's not the grievance. It's not the grievance corner. I'll
right.
save it for that.
Save it for
American
the
political discussions are interesting. They're not. All right. All right. Well, I guess that means it's my turn to level up. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I bought Cuphead on the PlayStation, and I've been playing it with my daughter, and that game is hard. And it
Yeah,
kinda
it's too
sucks.
hard.
It's too hard. Why is it so
It's
hard?
too hard to play Cuphead.
Why is it not a fun
because
game? Why is it a fucking stressful game?
That's what they wanted to do. They were like, we're going to make a real game like the old-timey games used to be, where it would
It's
take you
nothing
forever
like
to
the
beat
old-timey games used to be.
No,
It's
you know,
nothing like those.
like that Super Nintendo Lion King game that was impossible to beat. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but it was impossible because it was a platformer, at least. These are just bosses with a bajillion fucking hit points.
It looks cute.
It's amazing looking. It's one of the best looking games I've ever seen in my life. My daughter, I think, actually thought that it was like a game made in the 30s, which really made me laugh. Like, come on. It looks amazing, and like it's really cute and fun and cool, and it's also the hardest game I've ever played, and I hate it. Like, I don't know what to say about Cuphead other than it sucks. I wish it was like a good game. It's not. Hey, the two other fans will be excited about this. The challenge is back. When's Vanessa going to watch the challenge? I watched Taskmaster. I believe we made a deal.
Did we? Is that true?
No, that's not true at all.
I feel like I sort of watched the challenge because I watched The Traders, which had
Yeah, that's
what was
right.
his name?
CT.
Johnny Bananas in it or something?
Johnny Bananas, who lost in the first episode, and CT, who fucking won.
Yeah.
Season
and
40
also
of the
that
challenge.
woman who I ended up hating.
The challenge is back. It's season 40. They're doing a big 40th anniversary episode where it's broken up into like eras of, I don't know, there's 4 eras, so I guess eras of decades. And you know what? It's really good so far. I love that show. I kind of hate watch it in a way where I'm like, wow, you're all trash people, but
I have something
exciting.
to say about reality TV, which is like the challenge.
Go ahead.
How do you guys feel about John Lovett being on the upcoming series of Survivor? Spoilers for the upcoming series of Survivor, I guess, if you didn't read about the cast or know that already.
John Lovett, the SNL cast member?
No, that's John Lovett.
Oh,
John
that's what I was thinking it was
Oh.
too.
Who's John Lovett?
John Lovett, the host of Pod Save America and Love It or Leave It. That's
Oh.
right. Famous left-wing podcaster John Lovett, ex-boyfriend
I'll tell you how I feel
of
about it.
Ronan Farrow, former speechwriter for Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton.
I'll tell you how I feel about it. I don't care.
But he's like,
Do
he's
you
one of
think
us,
that
you know?
means he'll be on the challenge now, though? Because that's all Viacom, and they've started really intermingling those shows. Like, there are Survivor people on the challenge now, and Big Brother people on the challenge now.
I think he would be a great addition to the challenge. I'm assuming that going on Survivor is sort of a long con way to get on the challenge.
Yeah,
He said
probably.
that
That
like
makes a lot of sense.
Survivor was his dream, but I'm guessing it's the challenge.
Everybody knows that the challenge is America's fifth major sport.
I just think that it's really cool to see podcasters represented in a visual media. They usually don't let us appear on film.
That's true. I mean, I do like that, but not enough to watch Survivor. Okay, I watched the first 2 seasons of that show, and that was enough. Forever.
I started watching it like in early days. I watched the first few seasons. Then I had to stop because I didn't feel that they were giving the contestants enough food, which
Yeah.
I know like is part of the idea of it, but they really like were not. Nowadays, they at least give them rice and they have access to coconuts to eat.
Can I make
So-
an embarrassing admission?
Yeah.
I only watched Survivor after that Playboy issue came out with some Survivor ladies in it.
Whoa, bonk, bonk, go to horny jail.
Why? I'm allowed. I was in my 20s. I was allowed to be horny back then. Now it's
Oh, yeah,
gross when
that's
I'm
true.
horny.
In your 20s, you can't help it.
Yeah. Anyway, the challenge is back. I'm really enjoying it. It's been bonkers. The first episode, they brought a lot of people in, and then in the second episode they did a full episode of like eliminations, which is a new thing they've never done before, and it was kind of brutal. In all honesty, by the end of it, I was kind of bored with it. I was like, enough of these. Now I see why we do these once per episode, because an entire episode of it is too much. Anyway, the challenge is great. And speaking of reality TV, I have now gone and I just recently watched the previous season of MasterChef. That's right. I'm bringing Gordon Ramsay back onto the podcast. We love Gordon Ramsay. Yay!
Jim is going to be so sad that he missed this. I have tried to watch this season, but I made the mistake of watching the auditions, which you tell me you skip, and I couldn't make it through them. I'm just like, I don't understand why I'm watching these people I don't know cook dishes that don't look that good.
I think when it gets into I think usually it's 2 to 3 or even 4 episodes of auditions, and then you skip into the actual show, and I think it's really good from there. I watched the 13th season, and I liked it. And then for the 14th season, which is the one that I believe just ended last week, when this episode comes out, I was like, all right, I'll watch the auditions for this one. And I made it like 10 minutes in and was like, I can't. I can't watch the fucking auditions. They're so terrible.
Wow.
The current season is a generational. I said this today to Vanessa. The MasterChef is in its gimmick era, where it's just every season has to have a gimmick. Last season it was regions.
You need a gimmick.
They had like teams of regions, like the South and the Northeast and the West and the Midwest, and this season is generations. So we have millennials, Gen Xers, Boomers, and Gen Zers. I don't care for the gimmick, to be honest with you, but like it doesn't hurt the show. I don't care.
Yeah, but I find the concept less interesting than regions, because regions do have a food identity, whereas I feel like if you're 75, you can learn to cook trendy meals, and if you're 20, you can cook classic meals, you know?
I think that they have done a good job like using it. Like there was one challenge where every team had to cook with stuff from their own era, which was interesting. You know, the Gen Zers had like non-dairy milks and weird fruits that, not weird, but like fruits that, you know, you didn't used to have. And like the Boomer era had like Spam and bran flakes. And I think they've done a decent job with it so far. You know what? MasterChef is a fun ass show. Vanessa, for you in particular, I would recommend, if you're interested in checking something out in that area, MasterChef Junior. They don't do the auditions. The show is a goddamn delight. It's a delight. The kids are adorable.
Yeah. I've tried it sometimes. Sometimes I get a little bit weirded out, which is only due to my own imagination, because I start imagining that each of these kids has, you know, like they had stage moms back in the day.
They definitely do. Imagine, like, they definitely do.
Chef moms being like,
yeah,
chop the carrot. I said, Julian.
I bet that's true. You just kind of ruined it for me, to be honest with you.
Sorry.
Anyway, I'm enjoying the new season of MasterChef. It's a fun show, and Gordon's fun. They've all kind of chilled out a bit, like they do. Like I feel like the first 5 or 6 seasons of MasterChef, they kind of were in their like new era and trying things out. And then they leaned into like reality TV. They had the reality TV era of like everybody had to like be dramatic, and there was always a villain, and like it was I really disliked those seasons. But now that they're in their gimmick era, I'm back into it. It's fun, you know. Give me your stupid gimmicks. I don't care.
Well, Gordon's been on his nepotism campaign recently, really promoting his daughter. I don't know if you've ever run into that.
No, I have not. Good for him. He should.
Yeah.
Anyway, MasterChef, that's a fun show, and I'm glad that I'm catching back up with it. And that's it, gang. I have not done much. I'm still working a lot of hours and not doing much of anything. So that is it.
All right, we're done leveling up. Now it's time to... Jim always does
plug the stream.
Oh, that's
Vanessa,
right.
Plug our stream that you're not on.
Okay, every Wednesday night I am minding my own business, and then these guys start like probably, talking to each other over our show group chat, and they're like, hey, set up the link for this stream. Hey, where's the Zoom and the Venmo and the Ninja screen and all of these little like things that they use to do it. And then they start their stream, and if I don't show up in the chat, they're like, oh, where's Vanessa? I'll tell you where I was. Last night, I was watching a YouTube compilation of contestants on The Voice singing songs that were written by the judges. And the judges, like, start out listening to what the contestants are performing, and then they're like, oh, that's my song.
Let me just
Oh.
add this to the grievance corner of just a
Yeah,
piss poor
I'm
job
agreeing with you on
plugging the
this.
stream. Just trash.
I
Hey,
think I'm
Johnny,
doing a
Jim,
great
and
job.
I are Johnny and Jim and I are streaming on
Johnny
Wednesday
Gemini.
nights.
Johnny Gemini. It's me, Johnny Gemini, future caller.
That
Exactly.
sounds like a cyberpunk 20
It totally
whatever
does.
name. Johnny Jim Branks
Yeah, Jim Branks.
and
Let's
myself.
see if can I be cyberpunk? I'm Johnny Gemini.
Whoa!
Yeah, this
He
is great
looks
audio
so
content.
cyberpunk.
Wednesday nights, Johnny, Jim Banks, and myself are all streaming together on YouTube. Currently, Johnny is playing Phantasy Star 1. We have maybe 1 or 2 episodes of that left. And we just wrapped up a vote on the Patreon for what I will play when that's done. And Illusion of Gaia was the big winner. So I'll say it's more of a casual thing. We're not reading all the dialogue and play acting the stuff out. It's more of just a fun hangout with your favorite podcast hosts. And
I read
we're all
the
having a great
dialogue.
time.
Or I make Jim and Matt do it, but
No.
there's not very much dialogue.
You have
Sometimes
not
I
even
come.
come close to reading all the dialogue. You read
That's
some of
true.
the dialogue, and I
Yep.
enjoy it, but sometimes Vanessa's in the chat mocking us. It's been a
Sometimes
very
I'm on
good
the
time.
stream.
Sometimes she's watching the voice episodes where they sing the
Yeah.
songs to the judges instead of hanging out with her friends.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
it's hurtful,
true.
but that's Vanessa. Come join us.
And
It is a lot of fun.
I'm on the
I've
stream.
really
Stop glossing over the fact that I am on this stream at least
once.
3% of the time.
She could have
We're
even
also
had the
posting-
chat open while she watched.
Yeah,
the
it's just
judges
a
sing.
stream of me watching YouTube videos of The Voice, a show that I do
Let me
not
add,
watch.
not letting me get through this plug to my grievances list.
Okay.
I had to
Sorry-
take it
sorry.
over. We also are uploading some other streams. Jim and Vanessa played The Devil Inside recently. They put the whole thing up on YouTube. It was very fun. And Jim has many more horror-themed things planned for the coming month. I know that that's not exactly what is in the wheelhouse of this show, but that's what we like to do. So
Yeah.
come
Stream
join us.
is
I just want to
for, like,
say...
doing fun.
Yeah, I just want to say that I really have begun to look forward to the Wednesday night stream as maybe the highlight of my week. Like, it's just such a good, fun time. I really appreciate all of the viewers that come and chit-chat with us because you're all very funny and handsome and smart and beautiful, and I love you. And what else do we have to plug, Johnny?
Well, I have my channel, Bears and Games Neo, and my video, my latest video, the Grand Theft Auto one, has hit the algorithm. You know what that
Whoa.
means? Now it's
You're
on.
viral?
I'm not viral, but it's definitely had a big uptick in the past couple of days, which is great. I'm all for it. I'm slowly climbing up to match the number of subscribers that Square Roots podcast on YouTube has, which is 342 or something. I'm at 330. Catching up.
Yeah, you're going to surpass us soon. That's fine. It's great.
Do you find, Johnny, that now that you are reaching more audience members, you're getting even more weird, hateful comments?
No, I mean, You know what? My first YouTube channel, the one I lost access to, had a couple of thousand subscribers, which again isn't very much, but I'm pretty used to it, so it's not a big deal. I'd rather have more reach and then get to make fun of people in my comments who are being stupid, because I like doing that. It's like it's my one outlet for aggression, really. Okay, there's two outlets, but that's the one I'm allowed talking about on the podcast. So
yeah, the other one is the DMs he sends me in the middle of the night.
That's not aggression. That's just me asking about Poker Face. At any rate, I'm doing a Switch review of Grand Theft Auto 3. I've finished the game. I've written the review. I've recorded the voiceover. I'm just editing the episode. I would have done more last night, but frankly, I was tired after work and my cat was sitting in my chair. And have you ever just not wanted to kick a cat off your work chair?
100%.
Didn't do the work.
Sometimes
that's
the
what
cat sits on me. Yeah, the cat is like on me, and it means I can't go anywhere or do anything.
My cat does not usually sit on me. She sits near me.
Yeah, Jack is the same, to be honest. Although, occasionally, if I'm leaving the house, that's when he'll, like, jump up on my lap.
I'd rather you be honest, Vanessa.
I'm being honest all the time. I'm the most honest, bestest girl. And I always tell the truth.
All right, so how about we move to Valeria?
Whoa.
That's where this takes place.
It's time for the quest log, and since I have to be quest log boy this week, I need you to sing the quest log song.
Me and Vanessa?
Yeah, together.
Okay, a duet.
Yeah.
Let's do it, Johnny.
All right, you lead and I'm gonna follow.
Okay. When it's time to do the quest log, everybody sings. Why don't you lead, Johnny, and I'll follow you.
When it's time to do the quest log, everybody sings. When it's time to be a hero.
This is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Everybody rings the bell of being a hero. There you go, Matt.
Yeah, thanks. That was terrible.
Vanessa, I think I was better at it than you were.
Wow.
No. We had if I had to rate you, I would say Vanessa was a bad singer, and then I would say Johnny was a frog. So moving on, the quest log. What? Add it to your grievance list. I don't want to hear about it. So
I said thank you.
You said it sarcastically.
He said add it to the list.
So where we left off last week, the Buckram, those are one of the bad groups, had taken over the Archipolis of Rhyme, and I probably mispronounced that.
Archaeopolis?
But we learn this week that Lanselot, good, managed to stop the Buckram from advancing past the Rhyme, and 4 weeks have passed. And now our enemy
is our friend.
Duke Ronway has placed a bounty on Denham's head, which is weird because I'm almost positive he had already done that. So, I don't know.
Well, I'm positive that last time he was like, hey, we know there's a bounty on your head, but you get to go now, and everything, like, eventually you'll see the light, and I'm not going to force you to join us. And then apparently he, like, turns right around and he's like, higher bounty!
So are
guy.
bounties the ones with, like, coconut and chocolate?
The bounty bars?
Yeah.
I think that, like, it started out just chocolate, and then when it got the higher bounty, they're like, now coconut.
Ooh,
now
okay.
nuts.
Coconut's gross.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Meanwhile, Denham and the gang are hiding out at Port Assetown. Port Assetown.
Yeah, Port Acid Town.
And we get a little cutscene of Vice meeting with the Dark Knights. You remember those? That's Lanselot bad, and some of whom were at Rhyme, despite the fact that they signed a treaty. Not they didn't sign, but they agreed to kind of a treaty with us earlier, with Runway, but it was us at the time because we were bad back then. We were good. I don't know. Politics, right, guys?
Yeah.
That was my
Both
favorite
sides
parts
are bad. I think the
Final
lesson
Fantasy
here.
Tactics was when it like cut away to people sitting at a meeting, or Vagrant Story. Remember like Vagrant Story, that opening cutscene with like the woman smoking and people hiding in the shadows, and they're at the board table. Oh, that was so cool.
It's the best.
Yeah.
So Vice meets with the Dark Knights and kind of is he wants to know where they're at because some of them were at Rhyme and they claim that they're still neutral and not getting involved, even though they are technically working for the Bakram. But they don't want to get involved because they don't like the Bakram. And Vice asks for proof and it kind of cuts away. And it's like, oh no, what's that mean? So we cut to Port Assytown, where Denim and Katua, his sister, are arguing. Surprise! They're arguing again.
And
What are they arguing
what's
about?
Your gripe
Yeah,
this
what are they
time?
arguing about?
Denim wants to go and take over this castle, which is held by the Galgastani, and she's like, but I don't want you to go take over the castle that's held by the Galgastani. And he's like, but we have to. We're fighting. We're freedom fighters. And she's like, whatever, goodbye.
Yeah.
Stomp,
She's
stomp,
like, we
stomp.
never spend any time together anymore. It's really stupid.
They spend time together all the time. What are you talking about?
She
It's like
basically gets mad when he doesn't do what she wants, and she always just wants to like fuck off and ignore what's happening in the world, which I understand, but also like, come on.
yeah, it's very odd.
We're confronted by a headhunter named Ganon. He's a big pig. No, not really. He's a pig monster, and we beat him and leave for Coritane is the name of where we're going to go.
Core Italy.
Leads me to ask the question, at this point, you can buy all these like crafting books.
Right.
You guys doing the crafting?
I am.
Nope.
I got.
Vanessa, why would you?
Yeah, basically. Why would I have 99 of every item?
The improving the weapons apparently does a big change. Like just getting a +1 makes a weapon way better. I've only got
it feels like classic D&D in that way, where like that +1 is a big +1.
Yeah. So I got like I was reading about for ninjas because for a while my ninja was doing like 1 damage for everything, and I was trying to figure out. I was like, wait, why is my ninja so terrible?
That's weird.
And then I had to look it up, but eventually she just suddenly started getting better, and I don't know if it was a level thing or what. But now she's doing lots of damage with her swords, and I've got 2 swords on her. But I read a guide that was like, if you equip a ninja with like a +1 short bow and then somehow apply like poison and stuff to the short bow, which I have no idea how you do it. There must be like an ability you unlock with ninjas later.
Yep. That is an ability, at least in my game. You can add. They're random. We've talked about this, where like the abilities kind of randomly hit. But you can have, I think one's called Silence Bringer, which silences whoever you hit.
Oh, okay.
And there's another one that will poison. And they're both, silence and poison are fucking great skills in this game.
Apparently, if you make a short bow +1 and then use those skills with a ninja, it'll always 100% of the time apply the debuff on them. So I see why that's good, because the debuffs are very important in this game.
Yeah, it is. If you have the, unlike the spell debuffs, if you have the whatever it's called, the weapon debuff, it always hits, which is huge. So that's why with me, I don't know if with the short bow you get the double shots. If you have swords equipped, you equip 2 swords and you can hit twice, which is, they don't hit very hard, but it's still a lot.
Well, I guess you can only do 1 shot because You can. I don't think you can have two short bows. It's not two-handed, but I don't
You
think
have
you
two
can
crossbows.
depending
on the crossbow.
Okay. I don't know.
Some bows are one-handed.
I
and
was
some
just
bows are
reading a game
two-handed.
facts. Short bow is definitely a one-handed bow, so maybe you can. Maybe you can double you know. Like
that is
lady
really handy.
from the werewolf and vampire movie. She was always shooting two guns at once, right?
I have no idea. Underworld is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
For me, my ninja is the go find the cleric and fucking silence them, please, because I cannot. They're the worst.
They're the best. They're doing God's work.
I will say the +1 armors are also great, and like if you craft +1 shoes, I guess boots. They typically will add some sort of bonus to your movement, like a +1 to your movement or allowing you to walk over water. And then that shit is really fucking handy in this game with its huge arenas. They're so big.
So yeah, I've also crafted like some other things. I've been doing. You know what though? In yours, can you make more than one thing of ore at a time, or do you have to watch that pot animation every time?
No animations in any way, shape, or form.
I think I remember reading that being a plus of the Reborn version, because in mine, every piece of ore you refine has a like 20-second doo-doo-doo, where it's like success and like the little pot opens. So
Do you like it though?
I mean,
Sounds
it's
like a
cute
nightmare.
It's a cute little sprite animation, but you have to craft a lot if you want to really get into that system, because you got to craft the ore and then make the ore into ingots and then use the ingots on the thing.
So in the Reborn version, you can just kind of, there's an option to just like craft everything you need to craft the thing you need, and it's amazing. Like you can just
that does sound amazing.
It's really nice. It's like, hey, you're missing all of these bits. Do you want to also craft those first? And then it just does it. There's no animation.
Okay, this is the first time I wanted to play that version.
All right, so we're heading to Coritane Castle.
Mm-hmm.
We have to fight some Almoricans at Jodmors, and then it's like our 10th
yes,
fucking fight
the
here.
Alorcans at Jodmors.
It is like our 10th fucking fight here. That's one of my big complaints with this game is that you fight in the same arenas over and over and over again.
I feel like it's got quite like you're climbing off a castle wall in mine and going through some snowy.
I mean, I'm
there's
sure
some
that's
cool
all the
stuff.
same, but I think it circles you back around and makes you refight in the same arenas a bunch. Anyway, Denham does try to convince these people that the Duke sucks, and he's very much like, all these people are just vying for power and we're just pawns. But nobody is willing to listen to him, and we do have to murder everybody, which is great. And so what happens in Johnny's version here?
Well, let's recap where I was last time. Last time, Vice and I promised each other to live until the next time we meet in battle, where we shall decide.
Oh, that's right. Vice is a good guy on your side, which is bizarre
he's a
to
good
me.
guy. And then,
in a way, I'm sorry to interrupt. In a way, I feel like it kind of weakens the game if like none of these people actually have like convictions. It just changes on what you decide. Like, that
Vice
sucks.
has a conviction. His conviction is that Denham sucks.
Yeah.
And whatever he decides is stupid.
Is he super horny for Katua in your game as well? Because he's a real creep to her.
Yeah, I think
Well, I
that's
know
the
in
whole
yours,
deal.
Vanessa. I'm
Disappointed
asking
with her.
Johnny.
he was very disappointed with her. And he's with that lady. I can't remember her name. Alistam Absturb. You know the lady with the brother? The lady with the brother who had no legs?
There's a lot of ladies with brothers in this game. There's a
Yeah,
bunch.
everyone in this game has a sibling.
Are you talking about Oz and Ozma?
No, hold on. Let's see.
Ravna? Ravnis? No, you killed her, right? I think you killed her.
Monster.
She dies in ours too.
Monster.
Oh, it's doing a tactics. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So there's this lady, and she is one of the Wallisters, and she's signed up with you. And so you are going to go assassinate Duke Ronway. right? Because he.
Wait, I thought you were on Duke Runway's side. We're not going to assassinate him. We're just kind of rebelling.
We, on my side, even though we are on his side, Leonis has convinced Denim / Gastaphone that Duke Runway sucks. So we're going to go assassinate Duke Runway.
Wow.
And so we fight our way through his guards and you have to fight some birds and dragons. And then we fight his terror knight. That was pretty fun. And
Fighting birds does not sound very difficult.
Yeah. Well, it's those griffin-y things. They got replaced with chocobos in Final Fantasy Tactics. And then, so Leonis is like, all right, well, you guys deal with this. I'm going to go assassinate the Duke. So he goes to the Duke's room, and this is pretty good, actually. He's like, Duke, Denim is almost here. We have to shelter you. He's like, oh, thank God you're still on my side, Leonis. Everyone is traitors. And Leonis is like, yes, it's true. And then he just starts backing into a corner. He's like, but I'm glad we got you. First he kills the Duke's guard, and then slowly stabs the Duke. Well, it does the Final Fantasy Tactics thing of scrolling the screen away, and then you just hear ah, and I love that so much.
Wow.
I do think the screams in this game are better than the terrible screams in.
I love the screams in Final Fantasy Tactics.
So then Leonis comes back. He's like, all right, the job is done. There's just a couple more loose ends I gotta tie up here, if you know what I mean. And Denim's like, what do you mean, friend? Good friend, Leonis? And he's like, well, you see, if I kill you now, then you get to be blamed for the massacre of all the Wallisters, even though it was technically me who did it.
Yep.
So, you know what? You're doing a big favor. You'll make me a hero. So let's fight. And then suddenly, Vice and that girl, the arrow
Katua?
girl with the brother. No.
Oh, Arliss, something like that.
Yeah. They both show up and they help you. They're like, all right, we'll help you this once, even though we don't like you. We don't like Leonis more. So they help. Although Leonis will, and this is the arrow girl you can kill earlier, so it's only if you let her live that she's around now. So Leonis will, for the first half of the fight, only target them until he gets them down to near zero, and then they both teleport away. I like how everyone uses that gem to teleport away. They lift a giant gem that's as big as their head over them, and then flash away. And then it's just a one-on-one.
I don't like that it doesn't take everyone, though. You know, it's
true.
like if you want your whole party to flee, you have to do one by one by one.
Mm-hmm. And so Leonis is fighting me and my sister after defeating Vice and the other one. And the sister is still healing, and then it was actually, you know, I'm a little over leveled. Since the last time I actually went back a bit and then went to the hunting grounds you can unlock with one of the side questy talk things. It gives you this huge area where you can level up in, and so I spent hours I didn't clear it out because there's some dragon fights and tough fights with some classes I've never seen before there if you keep going deeper and deeper into the hunting grounds. But I did it for a while, and you can redo the fights over and over, and I got a lot better weapons, and then I got my ninjas all trained up, and I got my Terror Knight trained up. It was real good. So
it's nice that has a value in your game, because in our game, I've done them as well, and they're, other than if you really want to capture some fucking beasts, which I did.
That's where I got, but so far it's just been the griffins. There's also dragons later, but I have to work on my you have to be pretty beefy, I think, to get those dragons, because it's getting surrounded by dragons is pretty scary. They're pretty scary.
In the Reborn version, these side quests are useless unless you really want to recruit some animals, which also are pretty useless.
I also recruited some of the dudes. Now that I read that tip about being right next to them when they're flashing red, I've recruited some dudes.
What's the point? it's never gonna give you 20 people in a battle. You don't need them. The game gives you enough people.
But I just I
guess if your people are getting killed off.
Actually, it is pretty good if you're in a fight and just want one more person. Like, it helps because they for the duration of the fight, they'll help you. So, it's not so bad. Anyway, so I have, so I defeat Leonis, and he's like, and then Denim realizes, oh, hey, you planned it this way, so at least one of us would survive and be a hero. He's like, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, well, I'm glad that you can be a hero now. And then Leonis dies.
Wow.
Sad.
Now we are, it's a few weeks later, and we are discussing with Vice's troops. He's now on our side, I guess. Like, we're friends again. And they're going to do the dangerous gambit of going, I think it's not Lanselot. Someone had this idea. I don't remember who had the idea of their armies are going to come to the front gates of the castle, and I'm going to take a boat around to the back gates. That's the plan, but let's see how yours. I'll get back to that in the next check-in, which will be later on in this quest log.
Oh,
So
good job, Johnny.
Also, the Garbage Orphans speech. Did that happen yet for you? For me, it
No.
happened before we left. I'll wait till
we get that.
yeah.
So we, Vanessa and I, arrive at the gates of Coritani, where the Galgastani are waiting for us, and we fight them. And Denim does again try to convince the enemy that, like, we don't need to fight, and, like, this is all bullshit, and the clans don't need to be fighting each other. We're all one people. But
Is
nobody cares.
Coritani the one that's right next to the Archaeopolis of Rhyme? That castle that's kind. Okay. Is it the castle where Lanselot bad is?
No.
I can't keep track of where any of these places are, because
Okay. I'll look
it
at a
doesn't
map.
show you a consistent map. It's sort of like, I mean, it does, but you don't always have access to every location.
Yeah. No, I think I was. Okay. I don't think I've been to Coritani yet.
I think the one where the Dark Knights are starts with a PH, maybe?
Oh, yes, you're right.
Anyway, we head to Coritani where the Galgastani are, and in our version, the Ronway and the Wallisters are, fighting against the Galgastani, and now the Bakram as well, and so they're kind of pinned in, and the Galgastani at Coritani are a problem, and this is part of why Katya was so mad at us, is that we've decided, Denim has decided to go take Coritani, but Katya was like, you're just doing the Duke a favor. Anyway. We do try to convince them that we don't need to fight, but the Galgastani are like, all of the Wallisters, like yourself, are shit. He calls them night soil, but I was like, okay. You're all shit. And basically he's like, yeah, we Galgastani want to genocide you, and we don't like it. We don't like you. And
Really, nobody in this game is at all chill.
No.
Like,
only Denim is chill. Denim is like, we don't have to genocide each other. Genocide is bad. Which, bold words, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for you.
well,
I agree,
and he talks
but
about how,
nobody seems to give
it's
a
like,
shit.
we're just in this cycle where our kids are going to be fighting each other and it never stops. Whereas it's really like the dukes and the lords who are making us do this.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, he's saying, overthrow the capitalist overlords and let's start a union.
I mean, it's not the capitalist overlords, it's the feudal lords, but same diff.
Capitalism is just feudalism under a different name, Matt. Don't
No,
at
not
me.
even fucking close. Not even remotely similar. Inside Coritani Keep, we fight a Galgastani named Zabos. And he also talks a lot of shit to Denim about, like, he's I want to say he's not confused. Like, he's accusatory, where he's like, the butcher of, what was it called?
Galgastani.
The butcher of Gushers.
Butcher.
Yeah.
Let me add John saying Butcher to the fucking grievance corner.
The butcher of Balmamusa.
Balamosa. That's right.
yeah.
Balamosa.
Yeah.
I'm
he's,
sorry,
"Oh,
I
the
can't
butcher-
help you with names. I've made it clear that I will not and cannot remember anyone's name.
The Butcher of Balamosa, you're really working for the Duke after all." And we, Denham's, "No, I'm not actually. Fucking the Duke Runway's next, motherfucker. First I'm killing you, then I'm killing him." And then he accuses us of just being like power hungry.
Hmm. And then he's like,
And,
I'm not hungry. I've had 3 square meals.
And he won't listen to us as usual. Nobody else will. So we defeat him, but he flees as we capture the castle. We do not kill him. So we get another cutscene. This time it's in Courtenay, and Denham first is interrogating a prisoner. Not really interrogating. He's like torturing him. He's just talking to him. A Galgastani prisoner, and he learns that Zabos has gone to Brigantys, which was occupied by a Galgastani like resistance faction that also doesn't want to be involved in this like power struggle. And the Hierophant, which is the leader of the Galgastani, the Hierophant's army took the castle and is going to like execute all these resistance leaders. So we kind of Denham decides we're going to go to Brigantys. Later, this is the big, what Johnny said earlier, this is the big twist here. Later, Denham and Katua are talking, and she's a real fucking asshole. Mm-hmm. And everything she says is just the opposite of what you say. Like, it's bizarre, where she just cannot hear reason, and she just doesn't care. She's like, all these people die. I don't give a shit. Denham... She accuses Denham of abandoning her, which is bizarre.
Yeah, and he's like, what are you talking about? We're always together. And she's like, no, I'm alone. And
you don't do what I want, so we're not together. It's weird.
And then
This
he's
is
like, well, I thought you wanted to avenge our father.
Yeah. And Katua tells him he wasn't, whoever that was not really their father.
Yeah, she's like, he's not even our birth father.
Yep, surprise. Denham and Katua are garbage orphans. That's a callback to the very first season of the Square Roots podcast. Mm-hmm. They're orphans that lived in the garbage until this man adopted them and then died. And Katua doesn't care. I think Katua was a sociopath.
It's like the -1 season. The missing season that never happened.
Season. Well, we didn't finish Final Fantasy 3, so.
And it's not posted on our feed or anything.
Oh, why would it be? We didn't finish it.
Nobody can hear it. Nobody will hear it.
Those were the test seasons. Well, nobody will hear it because I certainly don't have those tracks. It's never coming out. That was like fucking 4 computers ago. Oh, I'm sorry, Vanessa. Are you sleepy?
Yeah, I tried to have my nappy today, but it just didn't take. And I lay down in the dark with my eyes closed for 45 minutes, and I didn't fall asleep.
Wow. So, Katua leaves. She bails. You abandoned me, and then she abandons us. It's great. She is a legitimately, I think, at least in our playthrough, I think Katua is a sociopath. She does not seem to care about other people or feel emotions other than for Denham.
I think she's more of a narcissist.
Yeah, that's fair. Everything she does is like the opposite of Denham. It doesn't matter, and this is what I gather from Johnny's playthrough as well, is that no matter what you choose, she hates it and doesn't want to do it. And then accuses you of abandoning her for daring to have a different opinion.
This is
Sounds
probably
like
why
a
Vice is
woman,
so
am I
into
right,
her.
guys?
No.
No.
This is why Vice is so into her, because they have this in common, that they just hate Denham and everything he does.
So on the way to Brigantys, we are waylaid twice, and this is I don't know how important this is, but like I wrote it down. Y'all remember at the beginning of the game when we went to kill the necromancer?
Uh-huh.
And first we fought Moldova and killed her.
Uh-huh.
And her whole family shows up now.
Yeah.
Her
And
mother,
they aren't
Cassandra.
happy.
who we kill, and then her fiance, Hector, who we kill, and then her sister, Cressida, flees to meet Master Nybeth. That's the necromancer that we fought but ran away at Brigantys.
So, I haven't played further than this chunker. My speculation is that Nybeth is somehow the real big bad of this game, and we're all just distracted by all this political intrigue, and then he's gonna be like, "Oh no, my plan is to bring the goddess of death, and she's going to kill everybody."
Maybe.
Most likely.
Well, we learn a little bit about that now. We arrive at Brigantys Castle and we defeat some troops, and then we get a cutscene inside. Zabos orders Nybeth and Cressida to flee. He wants them to leave, and Cressida is fighting against it. She would rather die. But he wants them to complete some mysterious research that Nybeth is doing that Cressida, I guess, is helping him with. In fact, I kind of skipped something here, which is that we also learn that Nybeth is Cressida's father. So we have killed this man's whole family at this point. We've killed his wife. We've killed his first daughter. We've killed his second daughter. We've killed the fiance of the first daughter. And now the third daughter and the father are all that's left.
Yeah, but he was like super chill with me before because I told him we didn't have to fight. He's the only person who's been interested in that message.
It's weird because we do kill his whole family.
Yeah.
But they do flee. Zybos is like, they're doing some research that they don't really explain, but Zabos thinks that it's going to like result in the Galgastani, I mean, again, just genociding everybody that's not Galgastani in the region, because that's what they all want, is genocide. It's cool. It's cool, right?
It's totally cool, totally fun, and everybody's all for it.
So they do leave, and we confront Zabos and kill him, and they talk a lot of shit to each other, but it's not really worth getting into. But afterwards, Denim talks to the Galgastani resistance that's left, that were in prison there, and he again is like, there's no difference between the Wallister and the Galgastani, like we're all one people, and the Duke and the Hierophant are just playing us for fools, like they're just vying for power with each other and using us. And I won't take part in that. And even though the Galgastani don't like the Wallister, the Galgastani resistance is kind of into this message, like, which I liked. Like, somebody's finally listening to you. But Denim, we're interrupted by a messenger, and we learn that Kuritsune has fallen to Duke Ronway, and Denim resolves to retake Kuritsune, which we just fucking did.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the end of the chunker for us.
Yeah.
What about Johnny's Corner?
Okay. So we take we're like, well, so we'll get part of the army to distract the front of Brigantys, but you guys are going to sneak through the back, and they're like, no, they'll never suspect anyone going in through the back door. Because it's just like tundra and mountains behind it. So we have to go through tundra and mountains. On the way, we do run into a patrol with Hector Didaro. And Hector Didaro is a knight, and he's like in charge of the armies here. And he's like, oh, I'm glad that we went and patrolled here because we run into you, and you guys should turn around. And we fight him, and he runs away. And then there's
Hector.
A really good... you can choose two different routes to get inside the castle. One is more watery, but has less enemies, and one is more dry land, but has more enemies. So I took the watery way. If you take the watery way, it's guarded by a mercenary named Bingham, who says that he is a notorious mercenary who's killed thousands, and they call him the Butcher of Goliath or something. And
Wait, that's us.
Oh, he calls himself Butcher of something, but not the same. But then Zamp and Canopus have a fun conversation where like, have you ever heard of this guy, Zamp? And Zamp's like, nope, never heard of him. Not some famous mercenary, is he? Well, he's certainly not one I've ever heard of, but maybe everyone who's heard of him died, so that's why we've never heard of him before. So you fight through. This took me a long time because no one had the wade ability, which is where you can walk through water. So you have to like jump from little island to little island.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
I came this watery way as well, Johnny. Does that shock you?
Wait, I thought you were playing a different path.
I still had option. They didn't say anything about it. I just got there, and it was like 2 options to take the front or the watery path, and I chose the watery path.
Did you have?
I wish
Birdman?
I hadn't because it took forever. Yeah,
It
I had
did take
Birdman
forever.
fly around, and then I have a move on Denim where he has a teleport ability.
Oh, cool.
So he can do his step movement, and then he can also do an additional teleport movement, but only as far as he
What is your Denim?
could
Like, what's his
step.
class?
Lord.
Wow, you already have Lord?
Well,
Yeah. I
How
had
the
it from
fuck
the
do you
very
have that?
beginning.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Andraste. So
Andraste, guide me. Andraste, protect me.
I climb up the wall of the castle and then get inside, and Hector is there again. I get a little cutscene before that of Hector talking with his dad, and Hector's like, his dad's like, you're gonna die doing this, right? And Hector's like, yeah, but I can't run away. We're the Didaro clan. We're like super famous knights. We can't run away.
This
And
is
Dad's
the
like,
same Hector that we fought, right? That was Moldova's fiance? Did
Yeah,
they
the
not bring that up at
fiancé.
all?
Oh no, they didn't mention that.
That's weird because regardless of path, we all killed Moldova.
I don't think
He
I've
just
killed
doesn't give a
Moldova
shit.
yet.
No, that's chapter fucking 1.
Oh, you're right. She was that lady who was following the necromancer.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a fucking necromancer family, is what it is.
Yeah.
Gross.
All right. So Hector's there, and he's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself. And his dad's like, he's like, you'll have command of this castle now, and if anything happens to me, I want you to just sort of give up, and you know what to do. And so I fight him, and I keep trying to recruit him, and he's like, no, you can't recruit me. I would never betray, even if I agree with you and what you're trying to do, I would never betray my clan. And so we fight and he's like, you're just trying to get those prisoners. Well, those prisoners are, they won't even, you think that they'll really help you? And Denham's like, what prisoners? What are you talking about?
And he's like, yeah, there's no prisoners.
Yeah. So we defeat and kill Hector. He feels he's like, well, at least I died in battle. This sucks. And he's dead. That was a fun fight. I definitely was pretty over leveled, so I was burning my way through them pretty quickly. And then also I've trained my bird enough now that it has a couple of different cool attacks, lightning attacks that it can do with its beak. That's neat.
The Griffin?
Yeah. And so I defeat Hector, and then I go downstairs, and his dad is there with all the prisoners, and he's like, well, here are those prisoners you're looking for. And Denham's like, yeah. So you guys don't like the Galgastani. Well, we're up against the Hierophant too. So how about you guys join us? And they're like, oh, and then one guy joins us. He's like, I'm gonna join you, even though I'm a dragoon guy. I'm gonna join you. And you're like,
yeah, what are
cool.
they? They're not dragoons.
Lancers. Well, that's what
they're lancers.
in mine they're called dragoons for sure.
They're basically dragoons.
Yeah,
They don't jump.
So that, and also, yeah, the dad surrenders. Hector's dad. You're like, oh, your last name's Didaro. I met a Didaro outside, and he's like, my son. What became of him? And you're like, well, he killed him all.
Well,
And he's like, anyway, sorry about that. He's like, well, he knew what was going to happen. And I'm going to give up the castle to you now. We all surrender. You can have the prisoners. So we got the prisoners and the castle. We never went to... Apparently, we go to the place you're talking... What's the other place called? Cicero?
Coritine.
Coritine. We go to Coritine after. So I will do that next time.
Yeah, I mean, we're going back to Coritine, so it's looping back around on itself here. But
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I guess my chapter 2 had a few extra battles, and your chapter 3 has a few extra battles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not the same for sure. If you look at the guides, like it's different. All right. Well, next week we're going to finish chapter 3, and that is it for this week's Square Roots. Johnny,
Yes.
what are you squarely against?
I'm roundly for the... I like the multiple paths. Like, it would have been amazing if Final Fantasy Tactics had this kind of replayability.
Yeah, you love genociding the Golgostani. It's your favorite thing.
I technically didn't. Leonis did while I was fighting Roam Noel.
Is it Leonis? It's Leonor in ours.
Oh,
That might just be a translate.
No,
oh,
I think that's just me. I think that's a Johnnyism.
I like how there's Lanselot good, Lanselot bad.
Yes. But yeah, I really think that that's a great idea to take a game like this, because it doesn't cost that much more money. It's just writing versus, they're not making a ton of different cutscenes. Although I guess for your version, it's all voiced. So that does add a bit more cost to having all the different paths. But I don't know. I think it's a really cool idea for this kind of game. What about you, Matthew? What are you roundly for or squarely against?
I'm roundly for Garbage Orphans. Very excited to learn that we're Garbage Orphans and that Denham's whole crusade about avenging his father has been for nothing. I don't know. That's not fair. I mean, the man was still his father. He adopted him.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, Katua doesn't fucking care. She doesn't give a shit. Fuck that piece of shit, according to Monster Katua.
Both Matt and J.D. Vance are taking the stance that adopted children don't count.
Yeah, pretty much. But I did like this stupid fucking orphan twist. Like, what a stupid... Ugh, what a trope, What a cliche, but it is what it is. What about you, Vanessa? What are you squarely against?
I'm squarely against the map size. Oh, not the map size, the arena size of these battles. I think they're just a little bit too big. I was trying to figure out what it is about this game versus Tactics that makes Tactics so much more fun for me, and I really think it's the size of the arena.
I don't think there's a difference between the two.
There is, and it's the size of the arena.
I think they're the same.
They're not the same.
Why do you think these are larger?
I think that these are larger because it will take 3 to 4 turns before I'm even in range to initiate battle with enemies. Why do you think they're the same size or smaller?
I think that both in this and Final Fantasy Tactics, it takes 1 to 2 turns to reach the enemy.
This is a wild take. It may be that because I start many of my battles with all the enemy units having 1 hit point, they don't advance.
They do definitely advance on me. So I meet them in the middle typically.
Yeah, for me, they tend to cluster in a frightened little huddle.
All right, well, so we have just disproven your own squarely against. Add it to the grievance corner.
And speaking of the grievance corner, where are you making us play to next time, Matt?
You already said it's the end of chapter 3.
Speaking of the grievance,
paying attention though. Let me add that to the grievance corner.
Wait,
speaking of the grievance
I'm talking to
corner.
Vanessa.
Oh.
Speaking of the grievance corner, Johnny, what's the Patreon?
Well, with the Patreon, you get live access to our spreadsheet where we see who's mad at who. and about what we update that hourly, basically.
Well, and
Anytime
can
there's
we all
any
just agree
grievance-
that we're mad at Jim for not being here tonight?
Yeah, that's on the it's on the
I gotta go
spreadsheet.
get myself diarrhea.
Also, for $3 a
Sorry,
month,
guys, I'm blocked up. Time to
you
get
get
things
access to
moving.
our timely bonus episodes, which definitely release before the end of the month, and not on the first, second,
We're
or third.
getting so much worse about that.
But we are recording 8,000 bonus episodes this week or this month, so we can like put one
Next
in
month.
the back burner and then make sure we throw it out in case we're going to be late. You know, like as we'll figure it out. I'm just saying we're going to have some extras, so that's going to be good. You love extras anyway. So we have like well over 100 hours of bonus episodes for you to listen to. So if you want to like spend a week listening,
What was
to
our last
us-
one?
Our last one was on the amazing game, Thank Goodness You're Here, and the other game, Clickholding. Which I heard was amazing. It was not. I thought it was
Somebody else
interesting.
feel like Johnny was like, let me get the rest of the gang involved in my weird fetish.
It's not
Yeah.
like I don't have a click fetish. That guy has a click fetish.
That's not what the game was about. It was not about clicking.
Oh, right.
It's kind of like how Mega Man's not about pressing buttons, but it is about... All right, anyway.
What?
Add it to the grievance corner.
Anyway, so we had that. And we have, for $5 a month, you get to vote. And there will be a vote coming up, right? Oh, no, I guess there's the next game's a choice of Jim?
That's what you
No,
keep.
no, I think
Everyone
it's Vanessa,
told me
and
it
then I
was
think
my
I'm after
choice.
Vanessa.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so it's Vanessa's choice is the next game. So that's great. But after
Yes,
that
I was
one-
told it was my choice, and I was also told what I will be choosing by Jim
I'm
and
not
Matt.
What?
I'm not telling you what to choose.
I
You can
haven't
choose
told you
whatever
No,
what to
you
want.
were asleep. It was a discussion, and then there was a lot of enthusiasm in one particular direction. I'll put it that way.
That
Well,
is not us telling you what to choose.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then.
Anyway,
Maybe I'll choose the Taskmaster game from MetaQuest.
I don't
I
have
don't have a
MetaQuest.
VR, so I can't play that.
Oh, no, sad. I guess I won't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll take a season off. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
No, joking.
So
It's a joke.
no matter what you give, if you give us $1, you give us $3,000 a month, which I really wish someone would do, just to help our numbers out, and give me
Johnny
and Matt
chasing
some-
those whales,
Yeah, we
both
gotta get a whale.
figuratively and literally.
Matt, how dare you? Do not make fat jokes about the men I like.
I don't think I did.
I thought
Oh.
he was making a joke about, like, chopping off a whale head and tying it
I
to the
thought
roof
I was-
of our car.
Oh, I thought you were making a fat joke about me liking.
I thought I was
Big
just making a factual statement.
Mac. What? That I like. What? Okay. What are you saying then? What factual
Yeah.
statement is it?
Do you think does Vanessa help me? Johnny, take your headphones off for a minute.
Yeah.
Vanessa, is a whale a thing in gay culture?
I don't think so. I have never heard that before.
Okay, all right. Well, I thought that's what he was-
However,
Mhm.
I do think that Johnny likes figurative whales, as in like big spenders, because he wants them for a Patreon. I've
Mhm.
never heard him say he likes literal whales.
But he loves Star Trek 4.
Oh, that's true.
Into the Whaleverse, is I believe the name of that movie.
And he does live in the Pacific Northwest,
It's true.
which, the orca whale is a very big symbol of that region.
Did you have good talk? You look like you're laughing a lot. So.
Add it to the grievance corner, Johnny.
I'm really curious of what you guys talked about. I guess I'll hear it in the final cut.
You
Of the
won't,
episode.
because I'll cut
You
it all
won't
out.
hear what that cut out.
Vanessa made some offensive jokes.
I made one offensive joke.
Was it about? Okay, well, we'll talk about it when we stopped recording. So we thank every patron, even if it's $1, even if it's $3,000. Starting with Cyril the Wolf, RP Siege, Ari Corpovara, Do Good Recklessly, Jason Timms, Jamie Black, Andy Best, Fresh Eyes, Mike, Keysby Knight, Star Healer, and Isaac Wright.
I'd like to thank, oh, you don't have the right, Tom, Anthony Lerma, Sol Wagner, Mike Marno, Daniel Wood, Angel, Cameron Shoei, Julie, Andy M., John B., Quaker Oatman, Chris Penyak, Loafing Around, and Jay Bo.
I'd like to thank My Battery is Low, Josh Holt, Magpie Juju, Fei Fong Dong, Sergeant Spaghetti, Eric Garby, John Scala, Matt Jorgensen, Ross Hartley, and DJ Three Dong. Oh!
I feel like you mispronounced that because there is an apostrophe there, so I believe that means it's pronounced Matt Jorgensen.
Oh,
Jorgensen? Okay. I think maybe is how it's done.
Send us an email. You know our email address. squarepodcast@gmail.com. If you absolutely cannot be bothered to send an email, please come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group, for smart, cool, very attractive people. Actually, just do this. It's better. And beskeet at us at squarerootspod.bsky.social. I still haven't activated that account, so no one's going to read it.
That's
please
weird.
Rate, review, and subscribe. Well, I mean, it's there. I just haven't added it to my phone. Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Ghana, or wherever. Thanks to Stephen Morris for his Roots theme. You can find Stephen on YouTube. Links in the show notes. I also learned you can like a Spotify podcast, if you listen to
like a
more
Spotify
than
podcast.
3 or 4 episodes. If you listen to a few episodes, then you can like it. So this is a hot tip from Tracy.
Farts. For the Square Roots Podcast, I'm Katua.
I'm Good Zamp.
And I'm gonna...
Bye.
Bye.